Mom, where are you? Emily's voice echoed through the empty living room, trembling with tears. I stood by the sofa, gripping the bag my wife left behind, a few changes of clothes, and her notebook. 3 days ago, she had packed hurriedly and left without a word. Her phone went straight to voicemail. No texts, no calls. The girls asked constantly, and I could only stay silent. In the kitchen, the light burned too bright, the smell of cooking oil lingering in the air, unable to mask the weight settling over the house. Olivia and Sophie sat at the table, chopsticks in hand, noodles long cold. Sophie whispered, "Daddy, when is Mom coming back?" I didn't answer. I rubbed my temples and said quietly, "Let's eat first." They lowered their heads, the silence solid and heavy. Little Ava clutched her napkin tightly, peeking at me from time to time, confusion written across her small face. I called her parents, who answered after a long pause. "She's safe. Don't worry." I called her friends, colleagues, siblings. No one knew anything. The house felt like it had been sealed under a suffocating, invisible weight. 3 days later, I learned the truth from one of her friends. She had been having an affair for at least 2 years. The news hit me like ice water, freezing me in place. The man had passed away from a heart attack last week, and she had hidden everything. For 5 years, she had abandoned her family, hiding her betrayal. That night, I sat in the living room, holding the report. I told the girls calmly, "Mom went out to take care of some things. Let's have dinner." Their eyes were filled with confusion and fear. Emily's tears threatened to spill. Sophie clutched my hand tightly, and Ava curled in the corner, quietly sobbing. I felt the emptiness affecting them, my own helplessness, but I had to hold this family together. 3 weeks later, she returned. The door creaked open, and she extended a trembling hand. "Can we talk?" I turned away, not looking at her. The air felt frozen. She froze, then lowered her head. Emily rushed forward, fury in her voice. "You think 3 days gone means you could just come back? Do you know what you've done to us?" She tried to reach for Emily's shoulder, but Emily recoiled, eyes blazing. Sophie cried, "Mom, why weren't you home?" The bedroom door slammed behind her, the key turning in the lock. From the crack of the door came her quiet voice. "I just wanted to explain. Over the next few days, we try to talk." She kept her head down, fingers tied around a teacup, voice trembling. "I was wrong. I hope you can forgive me." I set the files down and asked directly, "How long?" "Tell me everything." She swallowed hard. 5 years, things you don't know about. "I know I hurt you and the girls." Emily's tears ran freely. Sophie held my hand tightly. Ava shrank in the corner. Silence weighed heavily in the room, each breath laborious. I didn't argue. I just listened, knowing I had to stay calm to preserve some order for the girls. She tried to reintegrate into daily life, but every approach I made, I restrained. I organized the girls' homework, routines, and weekend activities with meticulous care. I had to maintain stability, avoid letting the family collapse completely. She cooked and cleaned, but an invisible barrier remained. Emily grew quieter at school, unwilling to share her home life. Sophie often woke in the night, whispering, "Daddy, will Mom disappear again?" I held her close, whispering, "No, we'll stay together." Ava preferred curling up near me, silently observing her mother. One dinner, she tried to engage. "I made dinner tonight. What do you want?" Emily raised an eyebrow. "We don't want your cooking." Sophie sniffled quietly. Ava said nothing. I took a deep breath. "We'll stick to the usual menu." She sat quietly, wiping the table, movements repetitive, almost ritualistic, reminding herself that she was still part of this home. I took the initiative for the children's routines. Breakfast, school drop-offs, homework, weekends at the park or library. We maintained distance, but communication was unavoidable. Every conversation was careful, preventing old wounds from reopening. Weeks later, I decided it was time to confront reality. She handed me a detailed record of her secrets, dates, events, people involved. I read carefully, the complexity deeper than I imagined. One evening, I laid the documents on the dining table. Tell me, every single detail. She lowered her head, recounting each instance of the affair over 5 years. Emily watched silently. Sophie gripped my hand. Ava buried her head in my lap. The air felt as heavy as stone. I asked why, knowing we had children. No answer. Tears slid down her face. She moved stiffly, bearing a weight too heavy to hold. Emily burst forward, voice a mixture of anger and despair. Mom, you've disappointed me completely. Sophie sobbed. Why didn't you love us? She whispered, I do love you. I've just made terrible mistakes. Ava asked softly, will you and Mom get back together? I didn't answer. I held the girls close. In the end, I filed for divorce. Terms clear, equal property division, fair custody arrangements. She didn't argue, just nodded silently. Soon after, she passed away unexpectedly. Phones, doorbells, mail, everything became void. The girls' world fractured again, and we could only lean on each other to slowly rebuild daily life. On the first day of school, I walked them to class. Sunlight poured down, but empty spaces in the home reminded me that 16 years of marriage and trust were irreparably broken. Life had to continue, and I had to hold up one corner of it for the girls. Breakfast, school drop-offs, homework, occasional favorite meals. Every detail became a pillar of our new life. Months later, divorce finalized, the atmosphere home settled. The girls adapted. Emily learned to handle chores independently. Sophie regained a normal sleep schedule. Ava started interacting normally at school. We ate together, did homework, told stories. The furniture, TV, desks, tables, sofas, was familiar, carrying both old memories and witness to our new efforts. One sunny afternoon, Emily held my hand. Dad, thank you for always being here for us. Sophie bounced. Let's have ice cream together. Ava laughed, hugging my leg. I watched them, warmth rising in my chest. The cracks, betrayal, and disappointment of the past weren't gone, but no longer dictated our lives. We learned to find strength in pain, to trust again. Life went on. Challenges would come, but their laughter reminded me. Family is more than form. It's responsibility, presence, and love. Sunlight spilled into the living room, reflecting on the girls' faces. And I finally understood we could still have a whole life of our own.